Any questions?
Rohan, that was some game. Just some of your emotions after that one.
Proud. Is that an emotion? Disappointed for the boys not to get the 2 points, but or one. But probably most of all, like, proud that you get to be involved in that kind of event. I think we've been involved in a lot of memorable games back end of last year and even this year, and both the games against St Helens this year have been very high level. I think setting the bar for performance in this competition, and I'm privileged to be part of it. And I think both teams can go home feeling like they've done good for the sport. But we're certainly disappointed we didn't take an opportunity or two. But I couldn't be prouder of the way they stuck together, and the players just kept finding it. They just kept finding it. Good plays, good defence, and it's one of those. It's bittersweet. I think you can't feel like a loser going home playing like that, but it's heartbreaking for the players, particularly to not go home with the 2 points as well.
I imagine they're all gutted in that changing room. Are those almost the hardest ones to lose? Given that you're up against it with the injuries and the red card and the way the game sort of ebbed and flowed, and to lose it in that fashion.
Asking a coach if it's hard losing, every game is brutal to lose. You can look at things different ways and try and reframe the situation. If St Helens are playing against a team that's lost 3 players in the first, whatever that was, 20, 30 minutes. I'm not sure what the penalty count was. The set restarts disappeared again. All of that stuff that was going against or hard to turn against. We certainly could have. A lot of other teams would have been in a worse position than that. And to go down at the back end of Golden Point, I couldn't be prouder of the way that they applied themselves. And, I spoke to them before the game. It was going to take a lot to get a result tonight. And I'm disappointed for the 2 points. That's what we come for. But, proud of the way we played.
That character they showed, it's not the first time we've seen it this season. You catch your mind back to Wigan a couple of weeks ago. How much of an asset is that to have a group that are that committed and have that sort of character in games like that?
Yeah, I just said to the players then that they've shown each other what they're capable of doing when their back's against the wall, and our opportunity is to find that level of intent and effort and energy and togetherness every week, as close to that as we can get every week. If we do that, we'll be in a good position.
Just on the injuries, those 3, what can you tell us on the latest on those?
I haven't asked on all 3 of them. They're clearly not good news. They'll all be significant injuries, but nobody's come near me, and I haven't asked. So when players get replaced in the manner that they did, they're not returning for the game. So they'll get reviewed and scanned and whatnot over the weekend, and we'll find out the outcomes of those. But let's not take away from the blokes that were out there and did what they did. On both teams, St Helens are an unbelievable team, experienced. They know how to win the big games. But they had to earn every bit they got tonight.
Just on that, how does that change tactically when, particularly when you lose your starting halves? Do you play simpler, or do you just ask your Richie Miles, your Corey Johnsons to do those same sorts of plays?
Well, because we'd lost so many, and the interchange was rotation, any sort of sense of plan was out the window. We had people playing everywhere at various times. Perhaps could have shuffled somebody different onto the right edge to deal with a bit of that kick return stuff. We lost our shape on our kick return a little bit, our kick chase. The effort was there, but the tactics at times, I think, for both teams weren't really present, other than the have a dig and keep turning up. Was a lot in the back end of the game.
You lost James McDonald as well to that red card. What did you make of that incident as a whole?
I haven't watched it. I turned away, or was focusing on the next thing after the error, and then I think one of the St Helens players was probably given a bit of, they came in. There was a bit of banter going on amongst a few of them during the game, and whatever happened on the back of the banter, I'm not quite sure. But obviously the video ref had a chance to review it, so you'd hope that he got it right.
What did you make of the 2 tries you had disallowed? I think that both unlucky, I think the word is.
Yeah, I think the Sam Walters one probably looks like there's a bit of grass between the ball and the line, but if it goes up try, I don't think there's enough probably to overturn it. But I felt like that decision was right, and I'm pretty sure Pussy touched the ball when Justin juggled it. So I think both those big moments, without having looked at it over and over, appear to have been correctly dealt with.
Would you have been happy with the draw?
After the 80 of that performance and effort, I wouldn't have been unhappy, that's for sure. To take a point would have been, satisfying and possibly, deserved. I'm not sure. I don't know. We were looking through it from a different lenses, depending on which side of the fence you're on. I'm not sure who the best team was tonight. I think there was too much going on to actually have an accurate assessment of that. You guys will all say St Helens were the better team, and the scoreboard says so.
What did you make of Sam Walters? I mean, lot's been made about his future and the way he played tonight. You must be really impressed with that.
He had some huge moments. He had some big opportunities on some big plays. He made some plays, missed a couple, but he played with good intent and energy, and we asked a lot more of him than he's been asked of in other games, and he had to spend some time on that right edge as well. He's had a red-hot crack tonight and had an impact on the game.
Going into the season, they changed the rules to give you an 18th man if there's 3 concussion substitutions. Do you feel like that rule should be expanded for situations like tonight?
No. Those injuries were attrition-based. If they were foul play, I'm not quite sure why. We tend to follow the NRL 2 or 3 years later. I'm not sure. I'm all for not doing the same as the NRL. But if it's foul play and someone gets injured, you should be able to use the 18th man. But for injuries, that's just the attrition of the game. Sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't. And we want attrition in our game. That's why we want the game to be sped up a bit. We don't want stoppages. And if people get injured, that makes it harder for a team. Well, as long as it's not fair play, I would encourage the use of 18th man to be brought in on foul play.
Is there any chance Blake Austin will be back to counteract the loss of Aiden?
No. Not next week.